It was March 8, 2014, a day that began like any other, with the sun rising over Kuala Lumpur, casting a golden hue over the city, but would soon be etched in history as a day of profound mystery and sorrow. Malaysia Airlines flight MH370, a Boeing 777, took off from Kuala Lumpur International Airport in Malaysia. Its destination was Beijing, China, a routine flight path that had been traversed countless times before. On board were 239 souls, passengers and crew, unaware that their routine journey would become one of the greatest aviation mysteries of all time. Among them were families, business travelers and crew members, all with their own stories and destinations. The disappearance of MH370 sent shockwaves around the world as news outlets scrambled to cover the unfolding tragedy, prompting an unprecedented international search effort involving numerous countries and agencies, all united in their mission to find the missing aircraft, and leaving a void of unanswered questions as families and friends of the passengers clung to hope, waiting for any news. The world watched and waited for news, clinging to hope that the aircraft would be found and the mystery solved. Vigils were held and prayers were offered as the days turned into an agonizing wait. But as days turned into weeks and weeks into months, the harsh reality began to set in. The search areas expanded, but still no trace of the aircraft was found. MH370 had vanished without a trace, leaving behind a trail of bewilderment and despair. The vastness of the ocean seemed to swallow the aircraft whole. The disappearance of this flight was not just a tragedy for the families of those on board, but a stark reminder of the vastness of our oceans and the limitations of our technology. Memorials were held, and the world mourned with the families, but a stark reminder of the vastness of our oceans and the limitations of our technology. The search efforts highlighted the challenges of locating an aircraft in such a vast and remote area. The incident exposed vulnerabilities in global air traffic control systems, revealing gaps in tracking and communication that many had not previously considered, prompting widespread calls for enhanced tracking and safety measures. The aviation industry began to re-evaluate its protocols and technologies to prevent such a tragedy from happening again. The world grappled with the unsettling possibility that a large commercial airliner could simply disappear in the modern era, a thought that seemed almost inconceivable, leaving behind more questions than answers. Investigations were launched, theories were proposed, but definitive answers remained elusive. The mystery of MH370 transcended geographical boundaries, captivating the attention of governments, aviation experts, and the public alike. It became a global enigma, captivating the attention of governments, aviation experts, and the public alike. Conferences and meetings were held, as experts from around the world sought to understand what had happened. The search for MH370 became a testament to human determination and international cooperation. Teams worked tirelessly, driven by the hope of finding answers. Countries from around the world pooled their resources and expertise, showcasing a rare moment of global unity in the face of tragedy, united in their efforts to solve the puzzle of the missing aircraft. Data was analyzed, search areas were mapped, and every lead was followed. The incident served as a somber reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of hope in the face of adversity. Communities came together, offering support and solidarity. The families of the passengers and crew, bound together by shared grief and uncertainty, found strength in each other, forming support groups and advocating for continued search efforts. Embarked on a painful journey for answers, seeking closure and accountability. Their resilience and determination became a powerful testament to the human spirit. Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 was a scheduled passenger flight from Kuala Lumpur International Airport, or KLIA, to Beijing Capital International Airport. This route was a routine one, frequently traveled by many passengers and crew members. The aircraft, a Boeing 777-200ER registered as 9M MRO, was carrying 12 Malaysian crew members and 227 passengers from 15 different nations. The plane was well maintained and had a solid safety record. The flight departed Kuala Lumpur at 12:35 a.m. local time, UTC+8, on March 8, 2014, and was expected to land in Beijing at 6:30 a.m. local time, UTC+8. The journey was supposed to be uneventful, spanning approximately 6 hours. The flight crew consisted of Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, a veteran pilot with over 18,000 flight hours, and First Officer Fariq Abdul Hamid, who was relatively new to the Boeing 777. Both pilots were well-trained and highly regarded in their field. The passengers came from diverse backgrounds, including tourists, business travelers, and families returning home. Each had their own story and reason for being on that flight, adding to the tragedy of the event. The Boeing 777 is a wide-body, twin-engine jet airliner known for its excellent safety record and long-range capabilities. It was designed to handle long-haul flights with ease and had been a reliable workhorse for many airlines. The flight took off from KLIA's runway 34L and climbed to its cruising altitude of 35,000 feet. Everything seemed normal as the plane ascended into the night sky. The initial phase of the flight proceeded normally, with routine communication between the pilots and air traffic control. The crew followed standard procedures, ensuring a smooth start to the journey. The aircraft maintained a steady course and speed, following established air corridors towards its destination. Passengers settled in for the overnight flight, unaware of the impending mystery. However, approximately 38 minutes into the flight, while over the South China Sea, MH370 deviated from its planned flight path. This unexpected change raised concerns among air traffic controllers. At 1:19 a.m. local time, as the aircraft approached Vietnamese airspace, the final voice transmission from the cockpit was received by Malaysian air traffic control. The calm and routine nature of the message gave no hint of what was to come. The transmission, "Goodnight Malaysian 370, was routine and did not indicate any signs of distress or emergency. It was a standard sign-off as the plane prepared to enter a new airspace. Shortly after this transmission, MH370 disappeared from Malaysian civilian radar screens. The sudden loss of contact was alarming and unprecedented. Vietnamese air traffic control, expecting to hand over control of the aircraft, was unable to establish contact. The plane had vanished without a trace, leaving authorities and families in a state of confusion and despair. The initial response to the disappearance of MH370 was delayed, causing a critical loss of time in the early stages of the search. Vietnamese air traffic control did not immediately notify Malaysian authorities when the aircraft failed to check in as scheduled, leading to a significant delay in the response. This delay, attributed to confusion and miscommunication, resulted in valuable time being lost in the crucial early hours of the search. The lack of immediate action meant that the search area was not defined quickly enough. Once the gravity of the situation became apparent, a massive search and rescue operation was launched in the South China Sea. The urgency of the mission was clear, and resources were mobilized rapidly. Malaysia, Vietnam and China deployed ships and aircraft to scour the area where MH370 was last detected. The coordinated effort involved numerous vessels and aircraft working in unison. The initial search efforts focused on the waters between Malaysia and Vietnam, assuming a possible crash site in the South China Sea. This area was vast and challenging to cover comprehensively. International partners, including the United States, Singapore and Australia, joined the search, providing expertise and resources. Their involvement underscored the global concern and the need for a collaborative approach. Despite the extensive efforts, no sign of the missing aircraft was found in the initial search zone. The vast expanse of the ocean and the lack of debris made the task even more daunting. As days turned into weeks, the search area was expanded based on analysis of radar data, satellite communications, and ocean currents. The search teams had to adapt their strategies continuously. The lack of a distress call or any indication of a mechanical problem deepened the mystery surrounding MH370's disappearance. Investigators were left puzzled by the absence of any clear signs of trouble. The absence of a debris field, which is typically found after an aircraft crashes into the ocean, added to the complexity of the search. The calm sea offered no clues, frustrating the search teams. The investigation shifted focus to the possibility of a deliberate act, including hijacking or pilot suicide, as potential explanations for the flight's disappearance. This new angle required a different approach to the search and investigation. The initial search efforts were hampered by a lack of accurate information about the aircraft's final location. The uncertainty made it difficult to pinpoint where to concentrate the search efforts. The absence of a confirmed crash site made it difficult to narrow down the search area effectively. Search teams had to rely on fragmented data and educated guesses. The vastness of the South China Sea, with its depths reaching thousands of meters, posed significant challenges for search and rescue teams. The underwater terrain was complex and difficult to navigate. The initial search for MH370 exposed limitations in global air traffic control systems, particularly in remote areas where radar coverage is limited. This highlighted the need for improvements in tracking technology and international cooperation.